This is a neurotic. I checked out one of his videos the other day. Golem. Peter Jackson has lost his mind. Yeah, Lord of the Rings is going down the drain. Lord of the Rings is going down the drain. It's not looking good. It's not looking good.
Nerderotic.com.
I love the One Piece music.
Well, hey, more good news for Lord of the Rings fans. It's bad enough that the Rings of Power Season 3 announced its release date, which is November. Hey, we all love job security. Okay, I'm just going to say that.
You know what?
That's what's... I hate it. I hate it. They all get paid so much money to rag on the Rings of Power. I just can't bring myself to watch it. Like, for me, I could watch The Acolyte because at that point, Star Wars was dead, and I was a huge Star Wars fan. It was like just watching the corpse be played with. But, oh my freaking gosh. How many things get ruined on due to some kind of woke nonsense, some kind of political nonsense, when you should just be making a good story. But yeah, Rings of Power, these people make so much money ragging on it. I'm like, maybe I should, but I'm like, nah. I have work. I'd rather just have fun reacting to the stuff.
One of the side effects of Pedro Pascal kissing Stephen Colbert could be that he ends up in the movie.
Oh, shut up.
They're very close now.
He is airborne.
You just put that in the air. Fucking A.
I thought you were gonna say he got AIDS. Like, that's what I thought.
That's also a possibility.
I can only hope.
Pedro Pascal is Tom Bombadil? What?
Oh, no.
I hope that happens because the world is going to come after you.
I could see that happening.
I could see Colbert casting himself as Bombadil.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that too. Like, legitimately, yeah.
Because he just thinks that like he could probably like fit in that role. Dude,
Yeah.
What Lord of the Rings sucks now, man. It's over.
Hunt for Gollum is based on the Joker. Did you hear that? It's inspired by the Joker. Why not have it be inspired by the fucking chapter you're basing it on?
The first one or the second one is Gollum.
This is a fucking retard.
But both are completely, totally like different.
Stupid.
Why do they keep doing this?
He's going back to the Tintin movie. I fucking love that Tintin.
Great movie. Underrated.
It's fun. It's fun. It's over the top, but it is.
It is.
Yeah, that's what Tintin's supposed to be, though. My kid freaking loved it when he saw it. God, he watched
a motorcycle chase. Great.
Yeah, and you see the team that was on that. It's Peter Jackson, Steven Spielberg, Edgar Wright, Stephen Moffat from Doctor Who. They all had something to do with that. It was nuts. So Peter Jackson compares new Gollum movie to Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, and like from the same industry that brought you making Sauron a Walter White story. Fucking hell.
And a thirst trap.
And a thirst. Jesus. Don't remind me.
Sorry, I just learned Golem is going to be a movie, so I'm.
There you go.
Yeah, like they could easily develop a character because off the chapters he's in, they could build a narrative off of that. Like, I'm okay with them building a narrative off of obscure characters in the story. I mean, like in, what was it? I think in, I forgot where in the world, where nobody knew what Golem was. There was no knowledge, his look wasn't written down. And in one story, he was like an 8-foot giant. An 8-foot giant trying to hunt down Frodo for the ring. He was an 8-foot giant. So he had to correct that in Tolkien had to correct that in his novels so everyone could see the same picture. But the fact that they're taking Golem, they could easily do a tragic story of it, like it's a morality tale of falling for greed. That is Golem's story. Greed consumes, wanting more than you should have, not being happy where you're at. That's the story of Golem. They could easily make that film. But for some reason, they're turning it into Joker. And by that, I'm pretty sure that it means not unrepresented, the misunderstood person. Golem's gonna be misunderstood. You know, he just has an illness. He just has an illness. Like in the Joker, at least the first film, it was like he laughs for no reason. He has like a mental issue. That's what they're going to do. instead of having a morality story where you're wanting more than you probably should have had, something that's not yours to begin with. That's Gollum's real story. He just kept wanting more and more and more, that he became so greedy towards that one vice. Like, it could be easily allegorical for like drugs, for the greed towards money, towards like, you know, addictions. That's literally Gollum's story. They could easily do that, but no. He's the misunderstood person. He's the misunderstood creature.
What?
Is it really going to be a movie?
There's going to be 2, because all they have rights for are the books and appendices, and Warner Brothers apparently still has rights to some of those appendices. Amazon has rights to them too. They don't cross over at all, and they are adapting unadapted chapters, basically.
This whole comment on Reddit's great. Golem, what's his story? The reply, so far we only know absolutely fucking everything about his whole life.
A rare Reddit win. All right.
We haven't seen how he got his loincloth. That's the reply. This is actually really good. He's actually shitting on this, like, yo, what?
Peter Jackson says his long-delayed The Adventures of Tintin sequel is finally underway, revealing at Cannes that he is actively writing the screenplay with Fran Walsh, while also comparing Andy Serkis' upcoming Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum to Todd Phillips' Joker.
Oh, God.
After a decade spent focusing on documentaries and film technology, Peter Jackson is prepared to return to feature filmmaking, first as a producer on Andy Serkis, who directed Animal Farm, by the way, everybody. 2027 film.
The end of Animal Farm flop.
Then flop with his sequel to Steven Spielberg's 2011 hit, The Adventures of Tintin, which would mark Jackson's first directing effort since 2015's The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, weakest of the trilogy by far. In an interview with IndieWire at the Cannes Film Festival, Jackson described his Tintin project as an active real thing, that's good, and said he was delighted to be back in the mid-century world of Hergé's adventuresome reporter.
Batman, yes, they're starting to cast for that. I'm still waiting for Penguin. Like, it should involve him in the second movie.
But like, we don't have to talk about Tintin. The one thing, there's an interview out there that's on Twitter where he talks about the worst news. So it's one thing to do basically adapt side quests from the books, but unfortunately, a lot of us Lord of the Rings fans have said, dude, get the rights to the Silmarillion, unfinished tales. There's some real movies in there.
Yep.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Just like
So anyway, those
real
two
thing.
books were gone, but then Tolkien, you know, then Christopher Tolkien sort of edited and published other Tolkien books, The Silmarillion and Unfinished Tales. I mean, there's a lot more Tolkien writing, which would actually make great movies that were subsequently edited and released by Christopher, but he just absolutely would not let any the mere idea of a film happen. So those rights have never been available. But Christopher passed away recently, well, I suppose it's about 2 or 3 years ago now.
Can you pause real quick?
Yep.
Can anyone understand what this motherfucker's saying? I have no idea.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. I was just like, he's mumbling. He's just mumbling the entire time. I'm just like, okay, they're talking about, I heard him say Silmarillion, and I heard him say good movies in there. That's literally all I heard. And the only reason I heard that was because Nerdrotic had previously mentioned it, and I was like, so I caught the words.
You know what he's saying.
New Zealand is like an offshoot of Aussie, and so I can kind of get the jargon.
Basically, what he said is Christopher Tolkien, one of the greatest sons who's ever lived, has protected his father's legacy and didn't
Thank
want
God
these.
he's dead now.
Didn't want these film rights out there because these are unfinished things that Christopher edited, right? And would never let anybody touch them forever, years and years and years and years. And Peter Jackson just said, oh, he just died a couple years ago. And, well, the rest of the estate is far more open.
Simon doesn't care.
Simon doesn't give a fuck.
Clearly.
I love that follows the rules of 3 with.
It's so sad. It's so sad how the Christopher Tolkien was respecting his father's work. Was respecting, I believe it's respecting his father's work. And now that he's passed, the other family members are just vultures picking it apart. Destroying everything.
The third generation will fuck everything up for a family. Literally, that is documented of how stuff works, and they are doing it perfectly right now.
And the younger Tolkien's sort of this next
Third generation destroying everything, or it could be first generation like George Lucas and literally sell the rights to your IP to a soulless company.
generation are now running the estate, and they're much more, much more open to talking. So I know that Warner's, combination of Warner's and us have been talking to to some of the younger Tolkien members who are part of who are now part of the board about the possibility of actually licensing the rights to some of the other books. It'd be nice to get away from the appendices and get something a bit more meaty.
Imagine that. Imagine being a grandchild of a great author and just like having companies come to you, offer you massive amounts of money for something that you didn't contribute to anything to. It's like, here's all this. Look. Hey, it's a credit to Tolkien, honestly, for making such a great, work and legacy. And I think his descendants get to profit off it. But still, it's like lucky them. Lucky
they're profiting enough off of what's out there.
Yeah, like that's the thing. The problem is they got the taste of money, especially after Lord of the Rings, because Lord of the Rings was always successful. The family was always well off, kind of like the Disney family. Those who are offshoots, like fourth generation Disneys, they still receive like lifetime memberships to the park. Some of them have get like revenue from like just the back in the day. Maybe that'll change when the rights start to get lost and like they no longer own the copyright. But I'm not entirely sure how that works with the copyright law and everything. But the thing is, it's just like they got that huge influx of money when Lord of the Rings came out. And then The Hobbit came out. And it's just, they became greedy for more and more and more. Because maybe they were just living a normal, cushy life on the what's it called? The residuals. Off the residuals from their father and grandfather, Tolkien, J.R.R. Tolkien. And they have sacrificed his legacy. They have sold it to a heartless corporation that's just trying to print out slop for money. I understand how Peter Jackson got a hold of it in the first place because he was wanting to be faithful in the beginning. But now he feels like he can get away with anything. I'm surprised that the internet was able to bully him on the Halo movie, because he was planning on making a Halo movie originally, and the internet bullied him out of doing it. But I think it's just become second nature for them not to care about what the fans want now, that they just, it's second nature not to care. Because any fan that tells you what is historically accurate in those books, they're just a racist, they're just a bigot, you don't want to listen to them. That becomes the problem.
They don't need any more money. They just want more money. And if you've seen interviews with them, there's a couple of them. There's one dude who tried to make it in Hollywood, and he sounds like the third generation Eli. He sounds like he's had a lot of business ventures that haven't worked out very much, hasn't probably worked very much, and now is in control of one of the greatest stories ever told. The problem is they're not caring about the legacy. And if you muddy the waters with a bunch of shit, it will affect it. Whether you like it or not, it will affect it. One of the best-selling books of all time, translated into 37 different languages and more dialects than that. If you combine all the books, it's the second or third best-selling book of all time. And they're going to make the Silmarillion with a black trans lesbian.
It's called the third generation curse. If anyone wants to Google it, the third generation curse. It's a well-known phenomenon and adage, and it is, hey, it's what you're saying. It's, hey, first generation builds the wealth through hard work and sacrifice. Second generation grows up watching the struggle. Third generation is born into the wealth and may not understand the effort required to earn or maintain said wealth. And that's, as you just said, exactly what happened.
Oh, but it's also because they were born into the wealth, they don't respect it like something given has no value. And so they only think...
that's the same. That's literally the same concept with like this white guilt thing. Like, luckily, I grew up watching, like I would be a second generation. I saw my parents struggle for everything me and my brothers had. I saw them struggle, work hard for everything. However, I have cousins that grew up, like I recall when my aunt and uncles weren't doing great. However, they did end up getting high enough in companies to give their children a better life. And then those children who grew up in a better life because their parents worked hard to give them that extra life end up saying that, oh, you know what? Because I'm white, I have a great life. Not because my parents worked hard, because they refuse to acknowledge their parents work hard. Because they're just so used to having everything. They don't acknowledge what their parents did for them. And I think that's a sad part. You always need to respect what your parents have done, what your grandparents have done, what your great-grandparents have done, because without them, you wouldn't be here. They have worked hard to give you everything you could need. I'll say need. I won't say want. I'll say need. Because without my grandfather, without my grandmother, without my abuelo, my abuela, without my parents, without my papa, you know, without my great grandparents, without a grandpa Ray or grandma, I wouldn't really be the same person. I wouldn't. They all are just like seeds of information that I can look up to and see exactly how I should be living my life. How I should be living my life. But a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't. They just realize, oh, everything's good for me. So what do I have to care? I'll just sell everything. I don't know. It's just everyone likes it. They're gonna offer me money. It's my name on it, all the books. Everyone talks about my great grandfather. Everyone talks about my grandfather when they talk about it. Yeah, it's my name. It's my name. Like, what the heck?
I can get money today, and they have no idea that I'm going to have kids, and it's going to go on for another couple of 100 years, and so I have to treat the legacy well now so that future generations can protect it. They're just going to burn the IP as fuel to get instant gratification and instant money for themselves, and then spend it all, and then the next generation had very little.
That's why you beat your grandchildren.
Yeah. Don't spoil them.
Oh, that's the lesson. You tell them.
Feanor is going to be Pedro Pascal. I'm calling it right now.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Makes a lot of sense.
Jesus. That's horrible news. When Warner Brothers said they were going to get back into Lord of the Rings, I was initially excited because they were, it felt like they were kind of they were trolling Amazon, and they're like, well, we still have rights. But then I saw the War of the Rohirrim, and that's the same person who's co-writing Hunt for Gollum, by the way, and it was terrible. It was feminist. It was a Tolkien story through a feminist lens, and it's
literally taking the daughter that Tolkien didn't even care to name. He didn't even care to name her because she was so insignificant in the story of Helm Hammerham, the Deep, and everything. And they built the entire story on this woman that didn't even deserve a name. What the heck?
How many examples now do we have of
I did not watch the new Punisher
creators
special
that we respected, like Philip O'Boyens and Peter Jackson, coming back to a property and fucking it up?
Well,
I think every single time.
Same thing happened with Doctor Who. Same thing happened with Doctor Who. Davis? Yeah, Davies, I think his name is. Like, he came back to Doctor Who and completely ruined it. Completely ruined it. We can't have the crap. Not the Cybermen. The Daleks. We can't have the Father Dalek in a wheelchair because that's enableist. That's apparently showing hate towards crippled people. Like, what? Nobody saw the I already forgot his name, but the father of the Daleks as a cripple. Nobody did. Everyone just thought he was a evil mastermind. That's what people saw. They didn't see a cripple. It speaks volumes that he saw a cripple.
One, she was restrained, and in this, because of her prior work, now she had full control. And she did a great quote where she said, look, there was all these great characters and great names and great men that were written in there, but there was just this unnamed woman that I really related to, and I thought, what's her story? And so I made it about her. And it was just, she can only perceive from her reality. She can only put herself into stories.
And I don't know how she felt related to that one woman who was mentioned in a sentence.
Didn't even have a name because she was that
didn't have a name.
And she wrote an entire story where she's basically responsible for getting her entire family killed, and somehow she thinks that's a win.
Jesus.
Her father is dying at the gate, and he's like, no, but he could walk through the gate, but he's like, no, it's because they need you to be leader, and just kill him. He just dies.
I can remember barely anything from that film. It's so forgettable. All I remember is that I didn't like it, and it was, feminist crap. But everything else just like excised because it was so forgettable. It was nothing. It was a blip.
And it was an hour too long. It should have been 90 minutes, and it was like 2.5 hours.
And choppy animation. It was brutal.
They included the line, though, I am not afraid of you. You should be. It was every girl boss moment they could add in.
Yep. And it's actually a great story that they fucked up. We knew what path Warner Brothers was on, America's dumbest entertainment company, who was in debt and was forced to sell. And it looks like that Paramount Warner Brothers deal is going to be done in September. Oh boy, Hollywood's going to get mad.
Please subscribe.
Sheesh. Paramount and Warner Brothers. Pedro Pascal. Yeah, Pedro Pascal's in everything. He's most likely going to be in the Hunt for Gollum. They put him in everything. But yeah, these people just don't respect what came before them. the IPs are an excuse to print money until they don't print money. Like, that's the funny thing, is they bought Star Wars for $4.5 billion, which honestly they could have, George Lucas could have sold it for much, much more, let's be honest. But they haven't made that money back. They've lost more money with how much they put into the movies, with how much they put into the shows, that now people don't care for the movies and shows, only for them to recently start talking about, you know what? Let's just retcon everything. Let's start over. No, you've done the damage. You've done the damage. It's like the same thing with like those people. It's just like, oh, well, I cheated on you, but we can make it work out. No, you've done the damage. And yeah, I equate them as the same. I equate them as the same. I like you, if you grow up watching something, getting like good morality tales from something like Lord of the Rings, a Star Wars, like, you know, those kinds of things which have good morality tales, and then you watch it completely go 180 on it, you've kind of lost your audience. You've lost your audience, and it completely ruins it. The biggest downfall of decades is Marvel. I hope they recover from Doomsday. They're not. They're going to make a profit on Doomsday. I guarantee that, but they're not going to recover. They built a cult and destroyed the characters. Yeah, they did. It started when they started getting people who didn't care about the actual comics, didn't care about the characters, like Taika Waititi, who did the Thor 3, right? It was Thor 3, Thor: Love and Thunder. And his quote was, I've never read it, like after the fallout and after all the hate, he was like, I never read a comic book. Maybe I should read one and figure out what I did wrong. You think? You think? You didn't think to actually read a comic book and see what kind of character Thor was? What kind of, like, you have to always do that. And when it comes to like Black Panther and Thor Ragnarok, they're the same movie. Both of those movies are exactly the same. However, one is better than the other. The only thing that makes Black Panther good is Michael B. Jordan. That's it. Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan's the best character in that movie. Oh my gosh, you just believe everything he's saying. He 100% believes everything. He got cheated out of the throne. Yeah, that kind of stuff is just like, yeah, Michael B. Jordan was what made Black Panther great. However, Thor Ragnarok had the humor, had the pacing, and the same exact family who gets betrayed. You know, it was a sister in that one. It was a half-brother or cousin in the other one. And it's just like, that's what it was. Same thing, exactly the same story coming out, I think the same year or like a year apart. Thor Ragnarok was better. Thor Ragnarok was much better. But yeah, then they started just going downhill from there. It all started with Captain Marvel. And for me, it ended with Infinity War. It ended with Infinity War. I hated Endgame. Endgame was like, oh, I'm done. I came back for Spider-Man and No Way Home. Yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home. Because, of course, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, you know, you just had to. You just had to. Willem Dafoe. And, yeah, and of course, Deadpool. I had to go for Deadpool and Wolverine. But other than that, I mean, I don't care. I don't care. That's why they literally had to delete, like, Captain Marvel's completely gone from the story. Just, like, been removed. She's a secondary character. She's unimportant. Hopefully they get rid of her entirely. I mean, they were talking about that Young Avengers they were going to do. The Young Avengers they had are now coming close to being 30. They're no longer Young Avengers. When they were pushing that like 5 years ago, when they were like in their early 20s. I was like, okay, but now they're getting close to their 30s. They're no longer Young Avengers. It's doomed to fail. It's doomed to fail. They've not had people who actually care about the source material, who care about having a hero's journey, who care about actually writing heroes. The Black Captain America was crap. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It was crap. Civil War was peak. I don't agree. I did not like the fact where he planned everything just in case Iron Man would show up to see what happened to his father. All that stuff was very... You don't leave things up to chance. You don't leave things up to chance. And that's what it did. That's what it did. And I was like, oh, okay, Zemo. Okay, Zemo. Yeah, that's whatever. It's whatever. And then the shows kind of didn't know what they were doing either. Like, the only one I watched was WandaVision, and the only one I enjoyed was WandaVision because of the gimmick. Because of the gimmick. You were watching it, and I'm like, oh, I remember I Love Lucy. Oh, I remember Malcolm in the Middle. Oh, I remember Friends. Oh, I remember Big Bang Theory. Like, it was referencing the TV series of each decade. I like that. I did like that. That was funny.
You guys got a video? So bad.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wait on that.